Hello, everyone. This is Eve Fabros from Corporate Office, and I want to welcome you to today's webinar with Nick Clark, Susan Thompson, and Mike McKay. And the webinar is on the Planning Club success with 100% conversion to coaching. So Planning Club is a profit-making program that Nick Clark manages, and he has all the available tools for promoting and facilitating this 2-day workshop in the Wiki's coaching session. So be sure to stay till the end, as Nick will be giving a brief about the tools. Plus he and Susan and Mike will also have a Q&A segment at the end. And this will be a short webinar, about 30 minutes long. So without further delay, I would like to pass you on to Susan Thompson.
Okay, so for those of you that were at Global Conference, we were talking about Planning Club, and it sounded like not a lot of people had tried the product yet, and it was actually Mike in our office who pushed us to go ahead and pilot it in North America. So I think we were one of the first ones to do that back in December of 2013. And we just wanted to take you kind of through our why and what our approach has been and what kind of results we're getting, and then encourage everybody to take action. I think this is one of the strongest products we have in the arsenal, and it's gotten fantastic review from everybody who's been through it and everyone who's seen it. So we will share that stuff with you. So here's been our experience. We've run 4 of these to date and have had 7 companies through. So one of the key things for us is that we know when we can get it in front of people, it's an easy sell. We haven't figured out how to market it yet, so that number of companies to date is a lot lower than we were anticipating. Our direct investment has been just a little over $5,000, and that is in the cost of the tool itself, as well as just the cost of the venue and food and those kinds of things. And now our return is not happening. Why not? Bear with me for a second while I... Okay, so our revenues to date, and this is just direct Planning Club revenues, have been $17,480. So average dollar sale of $24.97, and I'll take you through the fee progression in just a minute. Ongoing program revenues to date, and we still have 2 companies who have been through the program that we haven't done the follow-up diag with yet, have been $24,600. Conversion rate from Planning Club to an ongoing program has been 86%. This to us was a little bit of a surprise. Probably shouldn't have been in retrospect, because you're spending 2 full days with people, but was a nice bonus from a conversion standpoint. So I want to start with fees, because that was part of what we were talking about at Global. When we did the kickoff in December, we knew that we were piloting the program and it was probably going to have some bugs, and so we told people that. We said we're piloting in North America. We're going to cut you a deal and you get 50% off this one time only. So we gave them that introductory rate, and immediately the next time we did it, took it up to the $29.95, which I think was the suggested rate for the program. The company that came through it in June actually sent 2 people from their company and paid for 2 people, so they paid $29.95 a piece. And we thought, well, if they're willing to spend $6 grand on this, let's take the price up, because they didn't bat an eyelash at the price. So when we did it again in August, we took it up to $5,000 and offered through our strategic alliances a $1,000 scholarship. So basically the price goes to $39.95, and it gives our strategic alliance partners something of significant value that they can give to their clients. one of the biggest things I think is don't oversell this or undersell this. This is a very, very strong program. When people see it, when we've shown it to bankers and we've shown it to attorneys, they're impressed and say that people would pay somewhere between 10 and 20 grand to get this on the outside. So I feel like that $39.95 may ultimately go up, but that's what we're testing right now. So why do it? This was the whys for us. We couldn't physically reach our revenue targets without some leveraged group program revenue, and we've historically struggled to sell Action Club. So our target is to run this 6 times a year and have 5 companies per coach per session at that $39.95. So that math works out to a little over $350K a year just in PlanningCLUB revenue. Now, the conversion rate to ongoing programs, as I said, was a surprise. If we continue at that conversion rate of 86%, that's basically 350 grand of paid marketing and one really nicely leveraged lead generation source. So our approach, and I know this is a little different than we talked about at Global, is to have this taught by coaches, and here's the reasoning behind that. It gives us 2 days to build relationships with these people. And if we can do that with our coaches, then the whole sell at the end becomes a lot easier. It gives us 2 days to demonstrate confidence. So it's easy to pull coaches up to talk about particular sections, like Sharon from our office has 35 years in market research and helping people develop branding messages. So when we're talking about USP and guarantee, it's easy to pull Sharon in to be our subject matter expert on that particular section. Mike is very, very strong on the financial side, so it's easy to pull Mike in and let him ask some significant questions on the financial side and demonstrate that competence. So we found it's a nice, you're stuck together for two full days. It's a nice way to really start to position our coaches for ongoing coaching. It's 2 full days of perturbation for the participants. They start to see all of the things that they haven't thought about and haven't considered in their business. So it's a good time for us to get them into a state of dissatisfaction and vision and first steps all at the same time. And it's 2 days of building community. Even people are tired at the end of the day. We found it takes the full 8-hour day both days, but they stay at the end of the second day and hang out and drink for a couple of hours. So it's a nice way for us to just continue to build the community. And when somebody starts talking about staying in and doing ongoing coaching, at the bar, again, the sell at the end becomes a whole lot easier. It's easy, the way the PowerPoint is set up, to position ongoing coaching throughout the 2 days. So we talk a lot in terms of when we sit down, we will, and when we start coaching, we will. All those things we've been taught to do from a languaging standpoint. So following up, scheduling the follow-up diag to review their plan and start coaching is a very easy conversation. On logistics, venue is important. We have been holding this at a private club, a very nice private club in Madison. It's an award-winning venue. From our standpoint as coaches, they do business events extremely well. So we know that we can show up and the details will be taken care of and the wireless is going to work and our guests will be treated with the utmost care. And the guests have found that going to that venue is important and it makes them feel special. So would spend the money to do it in a Class A place. The prep work is key. Nick has a really nice checklist of financial documents that they need to bring. And we found that this was back on the first one, if they don't have those particular financial documents with them, we can still get to the information, but it takes a lot of time of talking them through their QuickBooks, or they have to go back and run a particular report and bring it the next day. So downloading that checklist of reports to bring helps a ton. If they can have access to their QuickBooks or whatever accounting program they use during the day, that's a bonus, because invariably someone's going to ask a question that we can't answer with that prep work. We have leaned heavily on Nick's team for technical support during the day, although he was just sharing that with the new system that was just released, he hasn't had a single technical support call, so that's cool. We also did screen prints of every single page, so to speak, in the planning tool, so that people could have a reference point on paper of what's been completed and what's coming. We found that helped us really stay on track and eliminate a lot of the, oh, well, I need to talk about my product pricing when you're still in the who owns what part of the company, section. So that just turned out to be a very, very useful reference tool for us to have and for participants to have. 2 full days, 8 hours each. It takes a while, and we rotate presenting between the coaches. So we run this on Thursday and Friday. Mike has cleared his Thursday, so he teaches the first day, I teach the second day, and that seems to work pretty well. Learnings, Nick has screenshots built into the PowerPoint, and that's really important. So we'll spend quite a bit of time talking about something like team, and we may be doing the 6 keys to a winning team on the flip chart, and then we can have the screen chart of where they're actually entering information related to team up on the PowerPoint. So we found that helped a lot. When we did it the first time, there weren't screenshots in the PowerPoint, and we were trying to flip back and forth between the PowerPoint and the tool, and that got a little clunky. We have added a lot of the business-rich slides to the presentation, particularly in day 1, for positioning and to position and ongoing coaching. So it almost becomes like a biz-rich / business plan session. So you've really got the strength of those business-rich perturbation slides and positioning slides and thought process slides to help round out and not make this a very left brain but also a right brain 2 days. There were some idiosyncrasies in the financial modeling. For instance, it used to assume smooth increases. So if you were predicting growth for a particular product line of 10%, would spread that 10% out year after year after year. And what Nick's told me is that they've now fixed that based on feedback, and we should be able to model the financials as they would happen in the real world. So if they're going to grow by 50% this year because they landed a big customer, and then they're going to slide next year or be flat next year because the operation has to add some overhead to handle it, that's apparently in the financial modeling now. The last one was really kind of nice. This doesn't take a lot of prep on our part. Nick has everything done, and it's stuff we know. So it's really this between the business rich slides that we added in and the slides that Nick has in the tool, these are things we're taking our clients through every day anyway. So I found that I could pretty quickly review the slides the night before, but it didn't take a ton of prep on our part other than the kind of prep we would normally do for a growth club or something like that. Additional learnings, we have presented this to our strategic partners and to everyone that we've marketed it with as a tool that, or as having a plan that comes out of this that would be appropriate to take to a bank to secure funding or to investors to secure funding. We haven't had anybody do that yet. So far, everybody who's come in and taken it has said, we know we need to do a plan, and if locking us away for 2 days is the way to get it done, we'll get it done. The strategic alliances need to see the sample plan, and there is one out there now. Before they saw it, I think it was just a lot of noise to them. Like, yeah, you have a strategic plan, so does everybody else. But when they actually saw it and we could print one out, they were pretty impressed. So having that sample plan available when you're talking with strategic alliances, or if somebody wants to see what a final plan looks like, we found to be very important. That plan, the plan that comes out of this, becomes your coaching plan. So for those folks that went on and did traditional mentoring programs, we've already got the roadmap before they start, and they've already bought into their roadmap because they created it. We found that the USP section is particularly challenging for people, and this is an opportunity for us to really push that and say, all right, so you're quality and you have a great team and you've got the best product in the industry, so does everybody else. So let's spend some time talking about what really, really sets you apart. And again, that's nothing that you wouldn't be doing in coaching or you wouldn't be doing in a business rich or a 6 steps, but we have time during this to sink some good time in it, and most of the time they got part of their USP section done, but it was really a start. So there's an opportunity for us to finish those kinds of things up in an ongoing coaching program. The goal setting was a challenge for them as well. The way the goal setting works, it's a drop-down menu of strategies, and the goal setting actually is towards the end of the second day when they're pretty tired, and then they pull up this drop-down list of, I don't know, 20 or 30 different strategies, and they're trying to pick out their strategies. So it's something to have. This is one of those places where, sorry about that, one of those places where it's nice to have coaches who can crouch down next to somebody and really help them through which goals make sense for them, what kind of priority those goals make sense for, and those kinds of things. So again, it's just an opportunity to really build relationship and demonstrate competence during those 2 days. So here's my challenge to you guys: get started. There really is no downside to this. If the moment you have somebody signed up, you've already more than paid for the direct costs of doing their plan. And I think once you get started and do it once, you'll be really, really impressed with the process, the level of thinking that it requires them to do during the 2 days, and with the conversion into an ongoing coaching program. So just set your ask. Pick a date, pick a venue, pick a target, invite your strategic alliance to participate, and start marketing. And do it for your own. Do it for your own company as well. It was certainly instructive for us to be forced to sit down and answer the same questions, and time those things out. So that's my shtick. What questions do people have?
Can you see the questions there in the question box?
Hang on, I need to make that big.
Yeah. If you click the little box next to the X, Susan, it'll undock it and you can see the questions a lot bigger.
Actually, Susan, I can read those out for you if you like.
Okay, that works.
Okay, so there's a question here, 2,995 per person, per person or per business. Which one are you charging there?
We do per business, and they can bring 2 people per business.
Yeah, sounds about right. And the next one is, what was the scholarship offer? So you've also got 2 questions here around scholarship. What was the scholarship offer, and what do you mean by a 1K scholarship? So what was that one?
So we offered to our strategic partners that they had a $1,000 scholarship that they could give to their clients, and we limited the number. So we said we have 4 scholarships available. You as a strategic partner can give these scholarships to your clients, but they're on a first-come, first-served basis. So when they're gone, they're gone. So it was $1,000 off the $49.95 price, which took the price for the participants to $39.95.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And it's another question here. For coaches who are working alone, would you recommend the full 2 days or stretch the sessions, to example, 4-hour sessions over 4 days, or 2 8-hour days separated? But what's your thinking on that one?
Boy, I'd get another coach to do it with you.
What was that?
That I'd get another coach to do it with you.
Can I take a shot at that one too?
Sure.
Yep.
I did do this for one guy in our office, and it took us about 6 hours. And so depending on see, there's a question, when you do it for an existing client. This guy knew quite a bit about his business, and he had been a previous client in Action Club, so he knew a ton of what he needed to bring with him. But if you have a quote-unquote savvy client, you can pound through it pretty quickly if you do it one-to-one. So if you're a solo coach, it's exhausting. I'll tell you, it is exhausting when you do 2 days. But doing it one-on-one, it's pretty straightforward, and you can get the whole thing done in about 3/4 of a day, and it's still, we charge the same fee for it. So yeah, $3,000 a day, it's not bad for 6 hours.
And Mike, if I recall correctly, he sat here and entered a lot of stuff while you were coaching, right? So you weren't there with him for that entire time?
Right. So we'd do a section of it. I'd give him some data to enter, do a coaching session, and come back after an hour and see where he was at and make sure he was moving fast enough to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. So with this one here, if you're a single coach, I would split it, and we have got some coaches that are splitting this already over a split scenario. In the split scenario, what that looks like is that on, say, a Friday or whichever day you choose, they'll do the 1 day, and then a week later or 2 weeks later they'll come back and do the second day. So if you do a split scenario as a single coach, it's going to be easier than doing back-to-back 2 days, because as these guys are saying, back-to-back 2 days can be pretty full on. They're full days, they're not 3/4 days. You do get some time to do some breaks when you're walking around supporting people getting their stuff into the system. So you're not on stage all the time, but they are 2 very full days. We've got another question here. If funding hasn't been a big motivator, has that limited your success in enlisting business bankers as strategic partners?
the one thing we haven't figured out yet, I think we're getting closer, is how to market this. And so that includes business bankers, that includes business attorneys and accountants and, you know, the usual litany of strategic partners. It made a huge difference in August when we could produce a sample plan and show it to them. So that was the first time we were able to do that, and their eyes opened up, and it was like, oh, this is really a serious plan. I get it. So we're still working on the messaging for that. I don't think it's because their motivator, you know, wasn't the funding thing. I think it's just that we haven't quite zeroed in on what the right message is to those guys.
Yeah, yeah. And with the new system, for those guys that are listening, there's when you go to the website, now there's a website, it's called yourplanningclub.com. That's yourplanningclub.com/access. So yourplanningclub.com/access, and you use the password access, all in lowercase. There's a whole range of downloadable material there, and one of those downloadable materials is the sample plan. So on that site you've got PowerPoints for the 2 days, you've got, there's some marketing material there, there's a free seminar intro, so there's a 2.5-hour free seminar on planning to get prospective clients in. There's a whole range of brochures and flyers, as well as a sample plan. Now on the new system you've also got, now the sample plan is based around a company called Design One Concreting. Because the reason for that is because most people can kind of get their heads around that type of business. So the sample's on Design One Concreting, but when we give you access to the new system, we create a client called Design One Concreting with all the data in there. So you can actually take, prospective clients into the system itself and show them some what-if scenarios, what happens if we change our product mix, our pricing, a whole range of things. So there's a whole range of tools available on that one.
Cool.
Susan, we've got what is your ideal number of participants for each session?
We have 5 companies per coach as ideal. So that's our target, and that gives you enough time to be able to spend with individuals during the 2 days. They ask a ton of questions. You really get to dive in deep. So we don't want to, at least right now, I think we don't want to go any more than that 5 companies per coach.
Yeah. Okay. And the reason for that is because it gives you a good interactional time with the people in the room. If you limit that number or spread that number out, then you're going to be able to spend less time with people. And the key for this, of course, is to get those. If you've got non-coaching clients, to get those guys into into coaching.
Right.
Have you tried the 2 split sessions over the weekend, Monday and Friday, or you're always doing back-to-back?
We have always done back-to-back.
Okay. Yeah. We do. There are other people that are doing the split sessions, and it's working really well for them. So they'll do a Friday one week and a Friday the following 2 weeks. So we've had a coaching business put about 14 or 16 clients through doing a split scenario like that. So it is working in the marketplace.
Okay.
And Susan, Susan, Mike, do they stay overnight or are they local? What's the situation?
No, they don't stay overnight.
Yeah, they could if they wanted to, but no, they just go home. This is a pretty small metro area, so.
Yeah. Okay. And did you do it as a cold scenario, cold turkey, like bang straight into it, or did you do a run through first?
Cold turkey.
Cold turkey. It's always the way, isn't it?
To Susan's point, there's not anything new in there. The tool is going to guide you through the process. The stuff we use BizRich because we're after conversion. I saw another question in there. We offered it to existing clients. We have not yet. Everybody has been a brand new brain. And part of the intent was to see if this can be a conversion tool and not just a one-off sale.
Okay. So with the marketing side of things, did you just go out there and call people up, bang on doors? Like, what did you do to get the guys in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing a regular diag.
You did everything.
What happens when they say yes during a regular diag that's created through whatever your marketing process is? When someone gets to the point they don't have any idea what they actually do, then we open the door to a discussion about putting a business plan together. And then it's like a sense of relief. Oh, you can really do that? Yeah. And we do it back to back for those 2 days because they want it, and they want it to get done, and they want to work through it and get moving on implementing and not take another week before they get their plan done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the others, you know, so some have come through a diag. The others have been just a direct outreach. Like we reached out to the members of this private club, and 2 of the companies that came in June and August were as a result of that. So some of it's just right now. It's been our standard lead generation methods. Okay.
And for the guys listening, you can go on to yourplanningclub.com/access, and there is marketing tools on there. So just go in there, have a look at the brochures, download the stuff, and you'll see you'll start getting your head around some of those marketing questions. Now, with the target market, what size clients did you have in the over those clients that you've got? What type? All types?
There were kind of 2 groups. One was in the 100,000 to 500,000, and the other group was about 3 million and up.
Yeah, I think the we've over the, if I look at the different clients that have come through, it's been anywhere from startups, straight startup, no solid idea about a whole range of things, seed business, all the way through. And I think the largest size business we've had go through at the moment has been about 11 million in ongoing revenues. So the different range. People do it as a self-paced scenario. Sorry, when I say self-paced, you're still going through the PowerPoint presentations, you're still putting your things in as the PowerPoint presentation dictates, but it's the different businesses are entering their own information, so it doesn't conflict in the room.
Yeah, and I see someone has, Rob has a question on a timed agenda. We spent the most time on the positioning slides from Business Rich, so I think that was a couple of hours on the first day, but then it's purely where they need to spend more time in the tool, we spend more time in the tool, and where they kind of fly through it, we fly through it. So we can just kind of pace it based on how the group is doing.
Yeah, it's by the way, the new system, it has less slides on day one than it does than it did before. So you've got a little bit more time to go through some of the positioning and working with the clients around their future of their business. So it's a little bit less data entry scenarios. But then you've got 2 days. You've got 2 PowerPoints, one for day 1, one for day 2. So should help. What did the clients bring? Did they bring their laptops? Do you use computer systems?
They bring their laptops and their financials, and it's if they can get access to their financials online, that's a bonus.
Yeah. Great. The other, now with the computer systems, there's some standard stuff that we take you through when you go on to the yourplanningclub.com/access and put in the access password, which is access. Down there's a free access request that you can fill in your information, go on there, and what happens is we'll send you out access to the system, and we'll also book in some time which will take you through the system, give you some training. There's also some training videos online as well to support you through how you actually do this.
I see a question about how goal setting translates to Growth Club. Would attendees still go? They come out of this with an incredibly detailed 5-year plan. So this is a perfect lead into Growth Club. So you've got, okay, here's 5 years, what happens in year 1, now what happens this quarter. So let's help you get started.
Yeah. So somebody says, I have a sample that uses the name John P. Sample. PT joiner, is that the sample you were mentioning? No, the sample I'm talking about, there's a sample plan on the system. It's called Design 1 Concreting. Now the Design 1 Concreting is up to date. It's been done in the new system. It's a plan that you could use as a to gain investment through an external investment party, and it's a fairly, to get investment through an external party who doesn't know anything about your business, doesn't know who you are, doesn't know what the business does, the whole end result plan has been governed to be able to facilitate that. So it's a very robust document that's produced at the end. And somebody's asking for the password to the site again, so you've got yourplanningclub.com/access, and the password is ACCESS, access, all in lowercase. We've got a million questions, so I don't know how you guys are going, but we're at 40 minutes into this. Do you want to answer some more questions, Susan, or do you want me to then go back onto the forum, see if I can answer some of the questions on the forum?
I'm fine to answer more questions if people have them. Looks like a lot of the ones that are out there are kind of are Nick questions about the sample and the password and the URL and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so there's a whole range of questions around pricing and costing and all those things. There's different pricing models based on what levels you go up. As you increase through levels, the pricing becomes slightly changed. But you can, if you look at a rule of thumb of somewhere in about $410 US, that's a new pricing model. The people bringing their laptops, yes, as long as if they're using Windows, they need to have some technical stuff we can help you with, and we send all this information out to you as you gain access to the system. Okay, so I'm seeing some people coming through. There's people that are logging on to the yourplanningclub.com/access site, and they're putting in their details and sending stuff through. So as you do that, what we'll do is we'll send you links to the new system. We'll send you, in that link will be your own administration area where you can administer your own planning system. You can also get on there and have a sample plan. You can download a whole lot of material. So if you go on them, that's probably going to be the best way for you. Susan, I think we should wrap up.
Yeah, there's one question in here from Bernie Powers that I wanted to address. How complex is the financial data that's needed for the client? Does that prevent coaches from participating? This looks at everything you would look at as a coach when you're going through someone's financials. So it looks at standard P&L and balance sheet related things. It looks at profit by product type. Does it look at profit by customer type, Nick?
No, just by product type.
Product type. It's pretty basic stuff that coaches should be doing anyway, so I wouldn't worry about needing to have a financial guru in the room. This is stuff we do all day long.
Yeah. And just on that too, by the way, you don't need to. The client doesn't need to know how to do a P&L or a balance sheet, or they don't need to know how to project their annualized cash flow, what have you. The system will do that for it. So how the system works is it uses the functions of inputting your sales, like what you sell, how much you sell it for, what are your base costs, what are your electricity, rent, and those things kind of cost out at. And what it will do is it will project all that information forward over 5 years. If you do have historical information, balance sheet and P&L, you can load that into the system. It's got a loading section where you load that in. And then what it will do is it'll project forward, then it'll go back and say, okay, is there any information in the loaded P&L and balance sheet? Yes, there is. Okay, let me now make some changes to the calculations. But you could come in there as a straight business, started up 2 months ago, have no P&L, have no balance sheet, and it'll project it all forward for you. Okay. I think that's about it, guys.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Nick, and especially Susan, for going through all the success that you and Mike have definitely had with Planning Club. Nick, are we still going to plan to have training on October 14th?
Yes, so we'll do Power Principles for Planning Club on October the 14th. Eve will send you out the URL link to that webinar, and what we'll be going through in the Power Principles is how to use the online system as a what-if tool. What if your clients want to increase price, decrease price, change products, introduce new products, put on a general manager, all the key questions that a client would kind of look at their business and say, okay, I want to make some decisions. This will go through how you do that as a what-if in the new system.
Perfect. And were you able to get onto the dashboard forum, Nick?
Haven't done that yet, but I'll do that. The email hasn't come through, so I'll just check on what's going on with that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because we're going to be opening a forum there on the new dashboard, everyone. So just if you have any other additional questions, it'd be great for you to post it there, or Nick will set aside a specific area for Planning Club questions, and that way everyone can benefit from the answers he provides. All right. All right. Well, thank you again all for attending. A replay will be emailed to everyone who has registered, so please look for that, probably within the next 4 to 6 hours. And as Nick mentioned, look for the email inviting you to the October 14th Power Principles webinar he's going to be also doing for everyone. All right. Thank you, everyone, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Eve. Thank you. Thanks, Bye.